Hello and welcome to a Talmud Israeli production. Today we'll review the highlights of this week's course of Daf Yomi study, Masechet Nedarim, pages 89 through 91, and Masechet Nazir, pages 2 through 5. 89, Petet. Ha'u Gavra, de'itzar hanayata de alma alei, inasi vitita kilo tani hilchata. There was a certain man who made a neder that he would not have benefit from anyone in the world if he were to get married prior to studying halacha. Well, what did he do? He tried his best to study. Velo amtzi lemitna, but he was unsuccessful in learning the halacha. And as a result of that, having not wanting the neder to kick in, he just chose not to get married. But that's not a viable long-term solution. So Rav Acha bar Rav Huna fooled this fellow into getting married, and then he smeared some dirt on the fellow's clothing, so that this fellow, who would then need the services of a launderer but is not allowed to have any benefit from anyone, now it's an untenable situation. And on this basis, we could find reason for hataras nedarim, for annulment of vow. So rather than have the guy remain unmarried forever out of fear of the neder, the rabbi had the neder take effect and then overturn it. Daf Tzadi 90. Iboilahu, we ask a following question. Amra tameya ani ma'u shetochal betruma. So, what happens if the wife of a Kohen says that she was coerced into having relations with someone other than her husband, so that she would be forbidden to remain married to her husband, which the Talmud says we choose not to believe her lest we think she's lying about this because she wants to escape the marriage and marry somebody else. So we do not believe her assertion about tameya ani vis-a-vis the continuation of the marriage. However, do we believe her or not believe her with regard to allowing her to eat truma going forward? So, Rav Sheshes Amar, Ochelet, she should eat truma. Why? Because if we do not allow her to eat truma, it will give the impression that really she shouldn't be married to a Kohen. And yet we're allowing her to remain married to a Kohen, and she might have children subsequent to this episode, and those children will be accused of being chalalim, of being invalid Kohanim, if we see that the mother couldn't eat truma. However, Rava Amar Eno Achelet Dav Shalach Lechulin. No, we do not feed this woman truma because it's possible for her to eat chulin, non-sanctified food, meaning she's not going to starve. The husband, the Kohanic husband, is able to feed her just with non-Kohanic emoluments. 91, Sadi Aleph. Ibo Eluhu, we ask a question. Amar Labala, Gerashtani Mahu. What happens if the wife of a Kohen says to this man, you divorced me? So Amar Rav Hamnuna, Tashma, let's bring a proof. Haomer Tameya Anilach, if she says I'm impure, Afilu Mishnah Achrona Katani Lo Mehemna, even the latter Mishnah says we don't believe her. Hatamud Meshakra Diada Debalad Loyada. Well, the reason why we don't believe her is because she knows that the husband doesn't know the truth. He could speculate, but he doesn't really know if she was violated by another man. But with regard to the claim of you divorced me, the Adaba, where the husband for sure knows whether she's lying or telling the truth, Mehemna will believe her. Because we have a halachic presumption, a chazaka, that a woman will not be that brazen to lie that brazenly in the presence of her husband. Now we go to Nazir Daf Bet 2. Eheye na'eh Nazir. If a person says, I'm going to be beautiful, I'm going to be handsome, that person has the status of a Nazir. The statement of Eheye na'eh has the halachic significance of a neder for Nazirut. So the Gemara questions that and says, Vidilma and Nalafana b'mitzvahs. Maybe what he really meant to say was, I'm going to become handsome or beautiful with regard to my observance of the mitzvahs, of the precepts of Judaism. After all, we have a concept of Zeh Keli v'anvehu, this is my God and I will glorify him. And Alafana b'mitzvot, we have an obligation to do the mitzvahs of Judaism in as beautiful a fashion as possible. Sukkah na'ah, beautiful sukkah. Lulav na'ah, nice looking lulav. Tzitzit na'ah, nice looking talis. Echtov lefanav sefer Torah na'ah v'chen b'shirayim, or a nice looking Torah scroll covered in silks. So, since it's possible that na'ah doesn't mean physically handsome in terms of the body of the person, it might mean their behavior in the ritual sense. How do you know that it means he becomes a Nazir? The Gemara answers, Amar Shmuel shetafas b'sarav amar ana'eh. Well, the person who made this neder did so while twirling their hair, looking in the mirror and making themselves look pretty. So that's how we know it means about the body. And if it's about the body, then it's a Nazirut vow. Gimel, page 3. What happens if a person says, behold, I am going to refrain from grape seeds or grape skins or from cutting my hair or from coming into contact with the dead? So they mention one of, but not all of, the rules of Nazirut and say, I'm going to refrain from that. Harei Nazir. We say, what does that mean? They become a full-fledged Nazir with all the laws of Nazirut incumbent upon them, not just the one item that they happen to mention. Daf Daled, 4. If someone says, behold, I'm like Samson, Keben Noach, like the son of Manoach, Kebal Dalila, like the husband of Delilah, Kemishakar Daltat Azar, the one who uprooted the doors of Gaza, Kemishanekra Plishtim Esenav, or the one who the Philistines knocked out his eyes. All these are details of the life of Shimshon Hagibor, Samson. Either his name, that he's the son of his father, that he's the husband of the wife Delilah, that he did this with the Philistines. All these are details of his life. If you say one of these things, as a Nazir Shimshon, behold, you now have the status of Nazir Shimshon, which is different from a regular Nazir. It's Nazir Shimshon can never cut his hair even under exigent circumstances and is allowed to come into contact with a corpse. Daf Hey, 5. Stam Nazirut Shloshim Yom. If you make a neder to be a Nazir without specifying the length of time that you will be a Nazir, we say it's a 30-day term. Menani Mili, how do you know this is true? Amrav Matna Amakra, because the Torah tells us the following verse. Kadosh Yihiyeh, you shall be holy. Well, Yihiyeh, the Gematria, what's the Gematria of Yihiyeh? The Yud is 10. The Hey is 5, the Yud is 10, and the Hey is 5. 10 plus 5 plus 10 plus 5 equals 30. Tlatin Havu. So on the basis of that Gematria, we know that a term of Nazirut with no specific time frame is 30 days. Everyone have a great week.